He's about to be some fire show.
You got moves.
All right, and we are back. It is time for pod number 3. Are you guys excited?
Oh yeah.
So, you may have
Yes.
noticed. Heck yeah. So, you guys may have noticed someone new sitting with us here. So you guys recognize my co-host Lust and my co-judge Trump for this pod, and we have a very special guest joining us, ladies and gentlemen. One of the originators, one of the pioneers in impacting outside of TNT. One of the guys who was a big hitter for OLS back in the day, and just member Lords of Light, and the man who does a lot of the editing and a lot of the video content work behind You Got Moves. Ladies and gentlemen, Freebie.
What up, guys? Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it. It's been a blast watching all these videos, also editing them. It's really fantastic. I mean, I don't glove as much as I used to anymore, but seeing this stuff, it's really inspiring to see what these kids are bringing out now. So I'm excited to see what they're going to bring now.
He's being modest. There's totally a video of him on the You Got Moves page from a few months back that's still just as fire, and he probably could step into the ring with these guys if he wasn't on the back end making sure they all look nice and pretty.
Maybe. I don't know. Watching these shows, it's gets my fingers wiggling sometimes, you know?
He's gonna put the gloves on. He's gonna do it.
Maybe.
He's gonna do it.
Maybe.
Impact. New Impact show.
Oh, you mean actually, funny thing is I need to get my red fixed. Once I get that fixed, I could probably throw an Impact show.
All right. Well, hey, maybe we should get that set up. We should reach out to people that fix iNovas and have like the services offered on You Got Moves, so that we can hey, gloving's great at resources, right?
Hey,
anyway,
you got a broken light, we got you.
Absolutely. So, speaking of broken, we have some absolutely broken matchups, and not in the bad way in this group. So today we're going to be taking a look at Euphoric versus Lykaios, and then later on we're going to be taking a look at Creepa versus Duck and Flack and Stack versus Mega Sloth in the next 2 episodes. But for today, Euphoric and Lykaios made her way up through the Group B redemption match, and now faces off against the showman extraordinaire Euphoric, who we haven't seen a show from really in quite a while. He was one of the contenders, and he's been itching for months waiting to make this happen, so I know he's excited. Are you guys excited?
This sounds like a really good matchup, honestly. Seeing Lykaios too, like watching her from back at SD Boss like a while ago, like the first one we did, she had some OG flow that I loved so much, and I was like, I gotta trade with her one day.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Trump. What were you gonna say?
The names in this one, like like Lykaios, like Creepa, Flack and Stack, Duck, literally every single person here, I would say I'm excited to watch, which isn't always the case.
It is today, though.
It is today.
So, rather than let this excitement build any further, let's get started with Lykaios. All right. Well, that was Lykaios. So I'll turn it over to my co-host Lust. Where's your head at? How you feeling?
I mean, I'm just happy I don't have to judge this battle because I really like that Lykaios show. Especially the beginning. I just feel like every show she's been putting out, you can see the amount of control she has in her hands with the cleanliness and things like that. I do think her shows kind of sway more on Teddy's side of the scorecard. But let's hear from Trump and see what he thought of the show.
I loved it. You know, technicality does not always mean you're doing digits and boxes. It can be your whips and your flow too, and that is one of the things I love about her shows, is just how flowy overall it is. Even when she is doing her tech, it just really completes her style. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw some scores in here. That was a great show. Good way to start things off. How you feeling, Teddy?
I definitely enjoyed that show personally. I feel like she, you know, knew what scorecard she had to hit, and she played to her strengths, and she did well. I will say this is the first time I wasn't blown away bell to bell by Lykaios throughout this entire competition. Um, Part of that is because of uh, I think like this particular song is really popular, and a lot of people like to use this song, and they use different parts of it. And I think that the first 30 or 45 seconds, Lykaios really didn't get going immediately. I think that right around the halfway point when the song I started to drop and she started to really get in there, that as soon as the tempo picked up just a little bit, she was right in her comfort zone. And I think um, one thing that was really in my head about it was that she's not in the beginning. She's not stopping, right? She's going at a consistent pace, but there are no stops and pauses. And the stops and pauses, as nuanced as they are, they it the devil's in the details, as they say. Like, you knowing when to not just slow down but pause or stop, full stop on a dime, that is so important. And I feel like she really just, like, this song particularly opens up for so many opportunities for that, and she just let them pass by for the first 45 seconds, or 45 seconds, maybe even close to first minute or so. She really passed that by. Again, she definitely did pick it up once the song picked up, and this it goes in. Then she's in there, and the rest of the show is absolutely her to a T, and it's the same Glover that we've been celebrating this entire competition. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about this one, because her show's really good. Like, I feel like if I was just scrolling in the lounge, I might have stopped watching after it not getting going for a little while. I feel like part of me watching that whole thing and part of me being engaged in that whole thing was the fact that this is a competition, and that should never be a factor, especially in the playoffs.
Very well said. Very well said. Well, let's have our judge put in these scores, and let's hear from the freebies.
Yeah,
What did you think about the show? What do you think about the show?
yeah, I definitely agree with Teddy on that. Especially, yeah, because that first minute, just I was expecting a little bit more intricacy within the little details, because there's so much in that song that you can work with. But overall, I did enjoy the show. Every show she's thrown, I feel like she's gotten a bit cleaner, has got more control over it. The improvement's there, but it's just there's that little wow factor missing in there. So I definitely agree with Teddy on that. And then Trump also with you don't have to be super technical. You don't need crazy moves to have a really good technical light show. I've seen people throw legit finger roll light shows. Teddy, for example, has given a perfect finger roll light show with technical finger rolls. And I was like, what? You you could do that, like, okay, all right, like this like makes me not want to like be all technical anymore.
Very doable.
Just to chime in on that, Freebie is one of a big inspiration to me. He's one of the first people that I actually traded impacts with, so he kind of got to see like my whole journey. But I send his videos to people all the time, and there's this one video, and every time I send it, the person sends back the time marker for this move. Like, so simple, but literally has never been done in impacting, and literally everyone geeks over it every single time. So as I said, like, you don't, as these judges are saying, you don't have to be the most dexterous. You don't need to get all your, digit skills completely to be original, to be unique, to have your own flow. So, yeah. So, Teddy, are the scores in?
They are. We do have the scores in, and it looks like Lykaios is going to come in with 25 points. Cleanliness, use of space, and difficulty of concepts 4, 3, and 5. And delivery, showmanship, and musicality 4, 3, and 6. So she's coming in with 25 points. Euphoric has got some work to do, but we definitely should take a look at his show and see exactly how much work that is.
Ready to marry me down. Oh Lord, how could you ever forget of me? The devil trying to take control of me. And still trying to get rid of me. They told me no, I had to insist that was a lie. You gotta resist. Can't take control of me. I got the law with me. Went from the street to the stage, up and proud of me.
Are we ready? Because that was Euphoric, and that was pretty awesome. Lust.
One thing I love about Euphoric show is how he combines, concepts. In this kind of day and age, we see a lot of Glovers do full on cluster sequences or full on finger touch sequences, but in this show, like, you see him doing what are those called? Finger fans, whatever you want to call it, and finger touch. You see him doing creature moves and finger rolls, things like that, and just he's so unique with how he combines concepts. What did you think about the complexity of that show, Trump?
Dude, it was great. You could say it made me feel euphoric. Cole, I'm sorry. Cole will not post shows forever and then come out with some crazy heat like this. As far as, my side of the scorecard goes, I mean, he did a full 360. He spun around. He hit his use of space. His experience shows super clean all around. And the technicality was there as always. Exactly like you said, you could call it splicing, the way he puts together different moves, and I especially love to see that with Tuts and just about anything else. You put those together, and I think they always look great. Great show.
So Teddy, how did you feel about your score side of the scorecard, and how did he do? You did talk about some of those moments where you should stop, you should make some hits. Did he do that? Did you feel like he did that?
Yeah, he definitely did, and I don't want to. I mean, I know they're versing each other, but I definitely want to weigh each show individually before I compare them. And talking about um, the showmanship specifically and the delivery specifically in this show. Um, Number one, I want to talk about something it's kind of in delivery, but I like to call it digestibility. Right? Digestibility is your ability as a Glover to make it easy for your audience to understand the difficult concepts in front of you. Because you can ask any Glover who's been doing this for 3, 4, 5 years, and they will tell you that yeah, I could absolutely throw the most complex, crazy shows, no problem. Um, anybody that reaches a certain tier, it's like yeah, you could put complexity on top of complexity, but at the end of the day, is all that going to get understood? Right? It's about being able to put things into a concise, minute and a half to 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever time you've been allotted, or whatever time the song takes up. It's about taking that time and making sure that everything you do in there is delivered properly. This whole little thing,
Oh, love that.
this whole spiel. Okay, I'm not gonna butcher it, but you guys that we'll freebie will put the actual video up and over me doing it. But this whole little thing, like how he does that, and if you look really closely, you can see how each finger interconnects, and if you were to look at it in slow motion, you would see that like everything actually is interconnected, and it's moving across what I like to call equal speed across equal distance. Where both moving parts actually move from their start point to their end point. They start moving at the same time and they stop moving at the same time. So even if the space is different sizes, you still end up going from one place to the other at the same time, and that really is the foundation to animation and to animating your shows. And Euphoric does an amazing job pulling that off in this show. Also the ending, I personally love that exact ending where it's just you pick a point where the song just like drops off and you've got full lights in their face and then off, almost like a strobe cage, but not. And the effect of that is that whoever's watching it, if you're taking up their entire field of view, when you end on like a high or on like a high note or when you end on a loud part of the song and you combine that with completely encapsulating someone's field of view, you give them kind of a sensory overload. And then when the song breaks off and like dissipates, if your lights also dissipate at the same time, it kind of creates a feeling of like, whoa, wait, oh yeah, I was getting a light show. Even if you're completely uninebriated, completely sober, you will still be able to pull off that effect. And that is like the echelon of giving a light show. That is the crust that you break on a creme brulee. So just I want to point out that specifically because I don't think that's done enough, and I don't think it's done successfully enough in videos. So credit to Euphoric for actually pulling that off properly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So let's have these judges score up the scorecard. And Freebie, what did you think overall of this show?
So, before I go into the show, I definitely want to give a huge shout out to all the NorCal Glovers and stuff. Really good friends with a lot of them out there, especially Cole and Jeremy and all them.
HF all day.
HF, Robo, and all them. They're amazing people. The one thing I've noticed with them is that the energy that they bring with their light shows is the exact same energy that they have. Like, you could see someone who's like super chill but gives off like this gnarly, like super over eccentric show. With them, the energy matches fully. Like, they're just all around great people, and I really enjoy their shows because it's not just like gloving, it's dancing and stuff too. They definitely incorporate a lot of dancing into their style, and it's cool to see how they're doing it. Like Jeremy, I know did SD Boss, and he had like some ninja moves or something like that going on, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's pretty cool, man. Like you guys like came out of nowhere, and like was it Jeremy that won?
Mhm.
Yeah, he
It was
won
Abyss.
that one, and like that was sick. Like, and Cole came up hard on that competition too. Like, they did not hold back whatsoever, and I'm glad to see that he didn't hold back in this either. Like how I think it was Trump was saying, like he doesn't post anything for a while and then comes back with this like gnarly video again. And I'm
Yeah.
like, are you kidding? Like, bro, you need to stop doing this to us. It's really like just euphoric, like you said. But overall, that show was a really good show. He definitely stepped it up, had everything on point, and the showmanship in the beginning, like, dude, he did the whole prayer thing. He was like, I'm ready to do this. Like, the intro was just so hyped up. So yeah, that's all I gotta say now.
Awesome. Well, are the scores in?
They are, and we do have a clear defined winner. So Freebie, you do not have to make a decision on this episode.
Darn.
Euphoric with a clear defined win, coming in for cleanliness, use of space, difficulty of concepts 4, 5, and 8, and then delivery, showmanship, and musicality 4, 4, and 7, for a grand total of 32 points, 7 points over Lykaios. A great showing from Lykaios, though. I want to say, like, came up through Group B. Beat Fry Guy to earn her spot in round 3, and came in with just a great show. Euphoric just kind of did his thing, and he was just it was a lot of a thing, and it was great. So before we close out this episode, I want to thank our guest judge Freebie, as well as my co-judge Trump and my co-host Lust. I'm doing the many hats thing today, but thank you guys. Before we go, does anybody have any last comments on either of these shows? Yes, go ahead.
I would like to say all of these shows, I'm looking at these names and these scores. These are very high caliber rounds. Every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just lights on, scoring. I've never held contestants to a higher standard, including in my own competition that I ran a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's doing amazing, and so are you guys. That's all.
Thank you. Definitely, I want to give.
Who are you, bud?
I do want to give a huge shout out to Lykaios though, because dude, you got to go up against Euphoric in the playoffs. Like, that's a really good step in the right direction. Like, you are doing the right thing. So definitely
She
keep
showed up
that.
at 4KC too.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
dude, you are like, you're definitely pushing it. So I really want to see more progress in that.
Eyes are on you.
Oh.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off that, Euphoric actually won a competition I threw about 4 or 5 years ago, and he won some CCCs, and we would love to see a show with those if you still have them. So I'm excited for all these rounds. We're in the playoffs now, and how I've always felt about competition is I really, if I lose, I enjoy losing to someone I respect. And everyone in round 3 is killing it, really, really high level Glovers. So for anyone who's taken a loss during this comp, these are best in the country people. So
Best in the world.
yeah, best in the world.
world.
Anyway, we'll be back with Creepa and Duck in the next episode. Catch you later.
Just